They followed Nana into the wide, welcoming kitchen where the air shimmered with the heat and the smell of butter, apples, and something dusted in cinnamon. Sunlight poured in through high-set windows, glowing off copper pots and jars of dried herbs lining the open shelves. 3 wide trays of pastries steamed on the island, golden and curling at the edges like they couldn't wait to be eaten. Sit, sit, Nana said, waving them toward the long table. Eat before you faint, or worse, make me think I've lost my touch. They laughed, took their seats, eager hands reaching for the still warm chaussons à pommes et peaches. Ezra took one bite and melted into the chair. This is perfect. Of course it is, Nana said, pouring tea. Recipes older than half the orchards in this district. Jonah helped her with the plates and cups, moving around her like someone who knew the rhythm of the kitchen without needing to ask. Once everyone had something in front of them, she pulled a chair to the head of the table and sat down, folding her hands over a soft linen towel in her lap. You know, she said, eyes scanning the group with affection, all this, she gestured to the room, comes from people like you. Your hands, your families. This chair was made by my uncle Mateo. That lamp above you, carried from Peru by my great-grandmother. Her French husband carved the base with a pocket knife during a border delay. Naomi leaned forward. You're part French? And Venezuelan, and Peruvian, and by the grace of God, every tribe in this place. She smiled wide. You name a founding family, I've got blood in it, or they've got some of mine. You ever check your arc? Rachel teased. Nana chuckled, the lines around her eyes deepening like old roots. Child, I remember when we didn't even have arcs. We had screens, and before that we had little slabs of glass that made people forget how to look up. Eve blinked. You mean like old phones? Oh, better than phones, Nana said, waving her hand. They could show you anyone, anything, any time. Could listen, track, predict. Too much all at once. She leaned back, eyeing the sunlight through the window. The ark isn't like that. It doesn't beg for your attention. It gives you what you need when you seek it, and only then. It doesn't chirp or flash or scream at you. It waits, quiet like the word. Ezra glanced down at his own arc, thumb brushing over it instinctively. No scream, no glow, just the gentle pressure of knowledge waiting to be asked. It remembers better than we ever could, Nana added, but it doesn't replace memory. It deepens it. Naomi whispered, That's beautiful. It's useful, Nana said, and that's the real beauty. She folded her hands again and smiled to herself. Of course, my mama didn't care much for arcs. She said if you didn't carry the word in your bones, you'd forget it the moment your tools failed. Micah chuckled. Sounds like someone I know. She made me memorize everything, Nana went on. Family names, birth years, verses by the hundred. Said a woman with a strong memory never had to borrow wisdom. Jonah smiled. You've told me that 1,000 times. And you'll hear it 1,000 more, Lord willing. She stood slowly, hands resting on the back of her chair. I spent my life remembering things. Lines, codes, fuel balances, lunar telemetry. You don't need to write everything down if you can hold it. That's how I earned my place in the early space program. Ezra's brow furrowed. Wait, you were in the program? Oh, child, she said, touching the cabinet beside her. There's a reason those heirlooms stayed with me. The Syndicate didn't build everything with machines. Some of us built with memory. Rachel's eyes widened. You helped us get up there? I helped make sure we didn't forget why we went. There was a silence in the room, not heavy, but reverent. Then Nana added, with a sly smile, "And between us, you'll see me off soon enough." Jonah straightened. "What do you mean?" "I mean I'm old," she said with a laugh, "and the good Lord may not take me yet, but if he tarries, I'll be on the moon before I die." "You're going to the moon?" Eve whispered. Nana raised her teacup, eyes glinting. "Let's just say they saved me a seat." Chapter 6. A Piece of the Moon. Nana stood at the top of the stairs, framed in the warm light from the sitting room, her hand resting gently on the banister. She didn't come down. At her age, the stairs were more of a chore than a choice, and everyone understood. She smiled as the kids gathered their coats, shawls, and jackets from the Arctic entry. Bags were still filled with warm pastries, jars of sweet tea, and small bundles of dried fruit that had mysteriously appeared in their arms before they could protest. No one in Syndicate territory went hungry. You could always count on someone's abuela to feed you for days. "Lift your hands," Nana called from above, "and look up whenever you feel small." They all turned and waved. Jonah lingered, one foot still on the steps, his hand resting on the railing. "Go on," Nana said softly, her voice like a worn blanket. "They'll wait." He climbed the stairs, kissed her cheek. She cupped his face the way only a grandmother could, as if his features were still new to her, like the first time she held him. Outside, the others waited in the golden light, teasing each other as the breeze caught the smell of pastries from their bags. "How many did she give you?" Rachel asked Micah. "At least 6, he said, checking his pouch. "I think she slipped 2 more in while I wasn't looking." "Jonah gets the most," Eve said. "She probably fed him a whole tray last week." "That's because he's her favorite," Naomi said. "He gets the special treatment, the heirloom hugs and everything." Jonah emerged at last, blinking against the light, his face unreadable for a moment before he smiled. "What?" he said. "Aw," Micah teased. "Did she kiss your forehead or your soul this time?" "Both," Jonah said proudly, "and you'd be lucky to get either." They started walking toward the dirigible station, wheels crunching on the gravel path as they led their bikes beside them. "You really don't mind taking care of her alone?" Naomi asked gently. Jonah shook his head. "My folks are mentoring the new village. They'll be back in a year or so, once the new district stabilizes. Until then, it's just me and Nana. I wouldn't trade it." Micah nodded. "That's real. She's got stories no book will ever tell." As they reached the platform, Ezra tapped his arc and called his father. The soft glow flickered brightly as the connection synced. "Headed back now," he said. His father's voice came through warm and clear. "Jonah's Nana, right? I know her. Related, you know." Ezra laughed. "Yeah, I know. We all are, one way or another." Jonah grinned. "At least twice over in our case." The others chuckled. In the Syndicate, everyone was family. It wasn't just bloodlines. It was the mission, the memories, the meals, the music, and the love passed down like heirlooms too sacred to store. The dirigible drifted into view, slow and graceful above the tree line. They turned to watch it descend, already knowing they would remember this day for the rest of their lives. The trio lingered on the platform, chatting with their friends while they waited for the dirigible to arrive. Bags of pastries, drinks, and little jars of jam were stacked at their feet, and their backs leaned against the rail. They laughed, traded stories from the visit, and teased one another about who carried the heaviest load, all while the hum of the approaching airship grew louder in the distance. Rachel broke the silence first. "All right, favorite Nana pastry, go." "Easy," said Micah. "Plum hand pies with vanilla sugar." "Mine is lemon date cake," said Eve, "but it has to be from my grandma Leah. Everyone else's is dry." Ezra smiled. "My tia makes these almond tarts with blackberries. They're almost sinful." Micah leaned back against the wall. We should make them all, like a bake-off. More like a bake share, Eve said. We bring them all to church. Let everyone taste. Ezra nodded. That's the rule anyway. No hoarding good food. You make something good, you share it. Amen, said Rachel. Church rule number 1 after love the Lord. They laughed and gazed out the window where the hills rolled below them, shadows stretching as the sun leaned west. I wonder if we will get picked up for the swarm, Naomi said. Maybe, said Micah. Or it could be another inter-district festival. Avaya's due for something. I thought we were done with this. We were. A wedding was mentioned, Eve added. There's always one brewing. Ezra was quiet a moment. What if it's Nana? Micah raised an eyebrow. Like, Nana is the announcement? She said something before we left, that she'd be on the moon before she died. Jonah crossed his arms. They don't send centennials to the moon, unless it's in a coffin. Not with a rocket, Naomi said slowly. But with the space elevator? The group went quiet. Everyone knew the elevator had finished testing. Cargo had been going up for weeks, and everyone knew there was a major launch coming soon. You think she's going up? Rachel whispered. Jonah looked out the window, voice soft. If she does, she won't be the first of us up there. But she'll be the first who carries us all. They stared upward. The moon had risen, pale and bold. They could just make out the glint of human lights, the shimmer of domes, towers, solar fields. Micah grinned. You think we'll be the first kids to change the face of the moon? Eve nudged him. Does that make us lunatics? They all groaned. No, really, said Micah. You think they filter the air in those domes? Like forever? Ezra laughed. Why? Micah smirked. Because if somebody rips one in lunar gravity, it's there forever. Laughter filled the cabin. We're going to stink up the stars, Rachel said, for the glory of God. For the glory of God, Jonah added solemnly. When the dirigible finally docked, they gathered their things, waved one last time to their friends, and boarded. The small Airbus lifted gently into the sky, beginning its smooth journey back to roll.